Hello, everyone. Welcome to AI Marketing. Today, guest Diego Lamanto is joining us to talk about agentic marketing. One of my favorite topics. As you guys know, I have a book coming out with my co-writer called Agentized. So this couldn't be more timely. Love to hear what you have to say, Diego. But before we do, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Mark. Diego Lamanto, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Writer. We are a enterprise AI platform that is well suited for marketing, revenue, and comms teams. I have been in the B2B tech space for about over 25 years. I like to say I've kind of traversed from analytics in the 2000s to automation in 2010s to AI in the 2020s. And so I'm just following the wave of the most interesting technology that I think we've ever invented continually. And my job is to help the market understand how AI can help them perform better, how we can help specifically these front office teams really become a agentic, an AI-led, AI transformed organization. And so we work with some of the largest companies in the world, big enterprise companies, Vanguard, Uber, Marriott. So I have a front row seat in what some of the best CMOs in the world are doing with this, and I've
Excellent.
learned a lot myself.
All right. Well, let's first define what you mean by agentic marketing.
Yeah, you know what 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 I like to say is that there's a fine line between what you know what how you can help a marketer in their day-to-day work achieve personal productivity with AI. All the tools that we're familiar with and we've gotten used to, from ChatGPT to Copilot to Claude. Writer offers Writer Agent, which really can match and in many cases exceed that personal productivity impact that you get from a tool, a digital assistant. But what we're really looking at from a longer term game is how can we evolve the impact from personal productivity to process orchestration. So what we believe is the path forward is to drive AI into the marketing organization through playbooks, routines, and a real sense of understanding and learning from the actual work that gets done to drive sort of a cyclical, iterative feedback loop into what the agent itself. And so
Okay.
we help drive complete workflows, autonomous process orchestration, and help the teams take their most important mission critical workflows and agentify them.
Got it. Okay, I like that. Now, you undoubtedly have seen Claudebot or Moltbot, I think is what they're
Of course.
calling it
Yeah.
now, which I was fascinated by because it kind of anticipates what you need and it prepares things for the morning,
Yeah.
for what you need. And I find that fascinating and kind of a sneak peek as to what I think agentic marketing is going to turn into. I like the process piece. So then you have your agents talking to somebody else's agents on the team. But yeah, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, I think what just as I was alluding to a minute ago, there's there's no shortage of capabilities in regards to like for the personal assistant nature that a Claude bot can bring to you. But where we see the real transformation happening is when you can use AI to orchestrate, the workflows across the team's function, right? Uh, that's where it's a lot more complex and where you move beyond that incremental writing stuff faster or writing more stuff. That's great. But how do we actually drive hyper personalization at scale? How can we get data out of these different systems and have AI start to craft more precise, more meaningful, and bigger scale type of projects. So one example that I can't name the customer, but one of the things that they're doing is they're, large telco, and they have no shortage of data on their customers, but it's been a challenge to take the actual data and create multiple offers on many different segments. They're actually constrained because the human and the actual process is the bottleneck. If you can have an agent who's working directly with the data source right out of the data warehouse, pulling hyper personalized segments and then feeding that into their content machine, that's where you get bigger scale. It's a much bigger impact than the typical, you know, write this blog post or, help me, summarize a meeting, which is great and makes people more productive, but that's not, departmentally transformational.
Okay. And so where do you see this all going in the like in a year's time? Because you know how fast this is moving.
Yeah.
My God, there's something new every week. And kind of revolutionary. I mean, Claudebot, although you have to run it on a small Mac Mini, is pretty revolutionary what it does.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to be around in a year? How do you see the world in a year?
Yeah. In a year, I think we're going to have orchestrated agents that are the digital teammates, for each department and organization within an organization. So, in a B2B organization, you're going to have demand agents, you're going to have product marketing agents, you're going to have content agents, and they're going to be working together at the orchestrated by a human to actually autonomously create and build campaigns and processes, and through a processes build campaigns and build the content people need for to fill those campaigns. I think we're going to see a lot more just autonomous orchestration happening in the next year. We're really going to go beyond that, personal productivity to team-wide orchestration.
Okay. And then how do you set this up, Diego? I mean, a lot of companies are, of course, dabbling in it, and maybe it's individual employees, maybe it's more orchestrated. But
Yeah.
when we talk about a truly agentic marketing team, and when we talk about preparing for what you just stated in a year, what do mid to large size companies need to start doing? And then we'll get into what you've already done.
Yeah. So, you know, the there's a lot. The technology is not the bottleneck. It really, you can walk into any great AI company and find stuff that will blow your mind, that they haven't even released yet. Um, I posit that if we paused and um, you know paused the technology 2 years ago, we still wouldn't be getting the ROI that's possible from the technology. And I think the number one reason is that humans are the bottleneck right now, and it's the actual mindset, and willingness to change that's the bottleneck. Um, in large companies, especially, um, we have people who have been doing work the same way for a long time. And I would even posit, like in my organization, I have one of the best marketing teams I've ever had in my life. And I've hired phenomenally talented people that are mid-career mostly. And even they have had to adjust to the different way of working with AI at the table. And so what I like to do is what we like to do when we go in and help a company adopt AI, bring them into the writer family and get them going, is we have to teach employees to change the mindset to anytime they're starting something new, they're fixing or modifying a process, or they're about to spend money on a vendor or another tool, ask, can an agent do that? It is the simplest and most effective, like, mindset change you can do is if you force, and this really has to be top down. So I do this with my own team. When they come to me and they want to buy, a technology, for example, we don't use traditional sales enablement tools. I've rolled out sales enablement tools in, 5 companies now. And in this one, we decided, you know what? Let's use agents for that. When we need to equip our salespeople with scripts and outbound messaging and customer research, why go the old way? We can have a writer agent do that for them. And so we don't use traditional software to do that. I force my team. I say when they come to me and they want to do something, I say, all right, and how can an agent help you with that? Or can an agent do that? And so I truly believe the most important thing to do is change the mindset going in. And really that takes a lot of work and practice. It's reps. But when you get a team humming, I just posted about this recently on LinkedIn. We had a marketing all hands, and my head of inbound just he blew me away with some of the agents that he built to run our own website, from
Hmm.
a QA agent to an agent that updates our copy automatically with new material. And in the past, that would have either been manual or additional
Is
CMS
that
software.
done, Diego, with human involvement when you update
Yeah.
your own website? Is a human checking to make just to make sure that this isn't way off brand or something
Yes.
inflammatory? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, no. What traditionally happens is it's with humans in the loop, and then if it's a low stakes process and it continually flies through without any modifications, then people just automate it and let the agent just do the work.
Yeah. Okay, good. And so let's move to American Eagle and Qualcomm. I know those are two of your customers you'd like to highlight. What are they doing? I'm very interested myself.
Yeah. Um, so they're creating well, they're doing a lot of things, and one of the things that is interesting about particularly Qualcomm is that they've gone from copywriting agents to agents that are actually even outside of marketing, in product organization and legal organization. They've really increased uh, productivity and satisfaction, and they're really getting a lot out of writer across sales, marketing, HR, legal, analytics, and we're actually used in 70 workflows across the business. Primarily started with trademark protection and legal reviews, but now they're using us for sales research, sales account research, new product launch, content automation, and we're actually partnering with them to deploy our LLMs on their processing.
And which is funny because Qualcomm doesn't do a lot of marketing that I've seen. Maybe it's all under the hood somewhere. You never see them doing marketing. It's always like their stuff is inside everybody else's. I
Yeah.
think the real income is most of it's patents. Uh, but it's funny to hear that they're actually embracing this. What about American Eagle, which is more of a retail brand?
Yeah. So what I love about what American Eagle is doing is that they, and this is a real important, another really important way of approaching AI is that they're using us to create the derivative content from their core creative assets. And so I like to say that you want to take the gains of AI, the gains that you get in productivity, in speed and scale, and use that to drive the differentiation of your business, both by using AI to help create, right? So um, I will give you an example. For us, actually, Writer, uh, our CEO was just at Davos, and she had a lot of speaking opportunities, and it was a great showing for us. And she what we did was we actually used Writer to help brainstorm her platform. We met with her, we talked to her about what do you want to talk about here? And she wanted to talk about the future, what the paths available to companies based on how they use AI over the next 10 years. What are the three outcomes that the paths that companies can go down depending on how they approach AI? And so our head of comms worked with Writer's agent and worked back and forth and came up with a really intriguing, differentiated, compelling platform for May's talk. And of course, then we went to May, we tweaked it, and she put her own spin on it. but it helped us in the creation process. Now, when you go back to American Eagle, what's neat is you can you can use it for, powering your creative process, but you also want to focus the benefit of the speed and scale and the way that you're doing things faster and cheaper to put those resources into and free people up to do the creative work. Because in this era of massive AI adoption, one of the biggest risks that brands have is that they all sound the same. If you're just going to use the same tools everyone else uses and you can create content, an unlimited amount of content, you're one of many that are doing that. And if you don't have a differentiated, strong point of view, you're not going to stand out. And that
Mhm.
differentiated, strong point of view comes from people. We firmly believe that. And so our POV is take the benefits of productivity, the speed, the scale, the performance gains that you're going to get from AI, and funnel and feed that capacity that you're getting back into the things that differentiate your brand, your creative and your customer relationships. That's how our team approaches it, and that's how I see the best of the best approaching it. And I have a really, interesting. I have a great relationship with my CFO Roger, and he and I sat down one day and we went through this idea of, well, you're getting, we set out, he said, you're getting more efficient. We're getting better and better. Like your team is using our own product and getting these great returns. And he said to me, he's like, now, if I was the, if I thought about this the wrong way, I'd say, okay, well, let's pull back your budget because you're more productive. But what Roger's point of view was, no, you're more productive. Let's see how we can take that efficiency you're getting and let's find the places that actually move the needle for us in terms of revenue. For us, it's paid ad spend and events. And so we've reconstituted our spend to be lower on operating costs and higher on revenue driving costs. And that is helping us grow with this, keeping our budgets relatively the same. So that's the sort of philosophy. And that just goes back to your original question. American Eagle Outfitters is doing the same thing. They're using AI to create derivative content, all the iterations, the different, segments that they want to target off of the main creative idea. That's a powerful usage and way to get value out of AI.
Wonderful. Okay. Love the explanation. As we're closing up here, why don't you talk to us about what you're doing at Writers or Writer and what your team is doing to leverage AI to boost efficiency and creativity, and then how it sounds like you're drinking your own champagne, as I like to say, and then maybe applying those lessons and learnings to the companies you're working with.
Yeah. My one of my favorite examples is the two in the field marketing area. So, you know, peeking behind the curtain here, B2B tech, field marketing is a really, important part of the overall marketing mix, right? Um, I I'm will proudly say that compared to my cohorts, I spend more proportionally on field marketing than most companies of my size, scale, and in my market. And I do that because that, once going back to the last point we were just making, that moves the needle for us. When we host events and we do a lot of intimate dinners, it AI is complex. We're working with the Fortune 500. It takes a lot of time and relationship building to, close a deal, but also help them understand how to, really think about this and become their partner. So I invest in field marketing events. My team is using AI to both source the attendees and the people to come to the events and actually manage the events themselves. So my head of demand gen, Andrew Racine, he's the best I've ever worked with, and he saw that we had a bottleneck in that we were not taking marketing's content and assets and doing outbound well enough. It was just too slow, and we weren't getting the returns that we expected. He went to the salespeople and he said, why are we not, why are we not using all this great material that we're building? And they said, well, there's a lot of it. We don't know how to find it, and I don't know how to use it to outbound. It's great. It's a great blog or great ebook, but I don't know what to do with it. So using Writer, he created an agent that he calls the Pipeline Kit-O-Matic. And anytime we create content now, it automatically creates a full kit for our outbound sales reps to use with LinkedIn messaging, call scripts, and email scripts all around that topic. If we put an ebook out on the Agentic Compact, or we put an ebook out on top 5 marketing use cases, automatically goes to the salespeople in our, like I said, we don't have a sales enablement tool, so we post it on Notion, and they get everything they need to go and do outbound. So another example would be he would do a kit for an event, helps us fill the event with people. Then when it comes time to host the event, our field marketers will use an agent that we have that actually helps create a lookbook for everyone who's going to be at the event, so that when sales shows up, all they have to do is open up Writer on their phone, go to Writer, go to their phone, and then click and see, here's the attendees, here's what they care about, here's what we have in our CRM, this is their LinkedIn profile, this is who who you may know that they know, and it's all an agent crafting and creating that for them. And so hitting on the point of, I'm doing more field marketing, doing more outbound, because that's what moves the needle for us. And then I'm actually being very efficient and effective in the moment using AI to help us fulfill that task. And it's working really, really well.
Good. All right. With that, we're out of time. So, Diego, love the fact that you've kind of shared the inside scoop and some with your customers. And if you ever wondered how to become an agentic marketing agency, this is a good start. Listen to this podcast, share this podcast with your team. Until next time, Diego, let's have you back in a couple of months just to kind of cover what's changed. It seems like things are changing.
Sounds good, Mark. Yeah, it would have been a different conversation like even 6 months ago. So
I agree. I totally agree.
Awesome.
Right. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.